Trap Politics TV, trappolitics.com. Trending culture, lifestyle commentary. He is I, and I am him. It's your boy Rel. Now let the motherfucking games begin. Appreciate you guys for kicking it and hanging out and chopping it up and stopping through and watching all my YouTube stories and reading all my blog posts and all that other good shit in the handbasket. Give me a second though. Let me make sure all the P's and Q's is right. And while I take the time to do this, make sure to like and subscribe if this is your first time here, because you are now in for a ride, a journey, an experience with yours truly, Rel. Alright, hold on. Yeah, man, because sometimes shit be acting fugazi, you know what I'm saying? And I gotta make sure everything is running right. You dig? Gotta make sure the levels is clear. I gotta make sure the lighting is right. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make sure I present the best possible version of myself when I'm on here, whether nobody's watching or whether the world is watching. You're always gonna get the best of me. And I appreciate y'all for kicking it with me, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get into a couple topics today, but one of the main topics that I want to cover for show, it's about defining your power circle, right? Defining your power circle. How to build a team of strong-minded, focused individuals that's all about that has characteristics that you're looking for now. Back in the day, you know, when we were making friends and stuff in high school, we were just looking for people who were like the coolest people, you know, people who just was cool and who were just cordial with everybody. But fuck all that. As you get older, you realize there's more to a person's character than just their ability to be cool with people. You know what I'm saying? You look at a bunch of other different aspects of who you really keep around you. Because as you get older, you realize there's more to this game to be played than just to be around a whole bunch of cool motherfuckers. But before we dive in a little deeper, like I said before, if this is your first time here, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. If you guys are digging the content, let me know if you guys are feeling me or not, because you know, I'm really gonna give you guys some gems, some jewels, some real spit, some trill shit that you could take home, apply. I've applied it in my life. I've cut a lot of loose ends. I've chopped off a lot of loose lips, dead weight. And I'm not saying these people were bad people. I'm just saying that these people didn't benefit me anymore. You know, sometimes people in your circle no longer serve you. And when I say serve you, I mean the reason why you own a vehicle is because it serves a purpose. The reason why you wear clothes is because it serves a purpose. The reason why you go to work every day is because the money serves a purpose. In turn, you serve a purpose as well. Your car won't function unless you put gas in it. You wouldn't have any clothes if you didn't purchase it. So what I'm trying to say is that if it's not serving you and your circle isn't really providing the value that it needs to keep you moving forward, sometimes it's time to cut out that dead weight. And defining your power circle is all about identifying where you could cut off, where you could replace, and sometimes where you could just rather not just you could just, you know, do it out. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, sometimes. Salud. had me a nice little shot earlier. I'm gonna clean up with this nice little shot right here. There you go. Read them and weep. Can't focus. Hold on. Wait till the focus. There it goes. Smile, smile, man, smile, man. Touchdown.
How's it going, man?
Mr. EU, thank you for stopping through, my dog. I'm going to break down this topic a little bit more about defining your power circle. Mr. EU in the chat box says, and what we do about these people when they are part of our lives, like family members. That's a very good question. That is a very good question. Now, trust, I wish I had, and I could only speak from my perspective when it comes down to family and defining your power circle. I've wished I had people in my family that believed in me as much as I believed in me, because at times you would think that those people would believe in you the most. Unfortunately, though, sometimes they believe in you as much as a stranger who's never even heard of you before believes in you. Sometimes it's best to continue to move forward and find people who do align with your values. And that's what it really comes down to, aligning with people who identify with the value that you're going for. I always use this this mindset, right? You can't build with people who aren't in your same niche, your same field, your same goal. Like you're if you're a mechanic can't build with a heart surgeon, even though they may be doing something very similar. You know, they're in the same type of technical field where it comes down to taking apart and putting together certain things. Still, though, they're two completely different fields. So people in your family might be into sports while you're into arts and crafts, but your goals and aspirations would not be the same goals and aspirations as the person who's into sports. Let's say you're into building a business, but your family has always been a slave. You can't be an independent free thinker trying to get people who are content with being a slave, who are comfortable with being a slave, to give you the motivation for you to be free. At the end of the day, they will always be a slave, but your mindset will always be driven to be free. So that's where the clash will come in. And unfortunately, that happens on all aspects of your circle. And it takes a person to really sit down and identify who could add to me becoming free, and people who are just comfortable with being a slave. People who are comfortable being mechanics with people who are comfortable being doctors. People who are comfortable being door-to-door salesmen and people who are comfortable being bodybuilders. Because at the end of the day, combining the two, when it comes down to a driven goal of becoming better, it's hard to mix. It's like mixing oil and water. You know what I mean? My man in the chat box says, I read somewhere that it's impossible to detach from family members. They will always be in our minds, like mom, father, brother, and sisters. Very true. Very true. I mean, you can't detach to the point where you never speak to them again. I mean, I wouldn't advise anyone to just completely separate themselves from their family and whatnot. But I do suggest that you would limit your time and limit the way that you accept their opinion. Nobody say to completely just separate yourself from your family. Like, understand there's certain parameters where you would allow your family to enter. So you wouldn't let your family enter into your circle where you are trying to build something, because building is not in their building is something that they're not productive in. Like I said again, you can't bring a mechanic onto a construction site and tell him, hey, I need you to work on the plumbing. You know, he wouldn't understand what the hell you're talking about or know what to do. So you wouldn't bring him in that environment. And that's where you will separate your family members. You still love them for what they do, because that mechanic fixed your car at the end of the day. They still provide value to what you need from them, and you provide value to them, and what, and however the relationship goes. But it comes to a point where you could only allow certain people into where you're most sensitive at. You don't want to allow certain people who aren't going to help you progress in your most sensitive areas, that aren't going to be helpful to you. And that's what defines your power circle. You got to definitely be able to find people who could be able to add to that. Yes, it's a sensitive area, and only people who understand where you're coming from could be allowed in this area, because they are also inviting you into their sensitive areas, that if they're trying to build something, they're more keen to understanding where you're coming from, because your experience could help them on with their experience. You guys understand the same struggle. Entrepreneurs hang out with entrepreneurs. That's why the good book always talks about iron sharpening iron, and that's like really the best way I could put it. You feel me? Iron will always sharpen iron, and you have to be in the same environment with people who are like-minded. And I know it's like it's easier said than done. It's like, it's something that it's like, it's like obvious, right? People be like, well, duh, of course you got to be, if you want to be smart, you got to be around a lot of smart people. If you want to be rich, you got to be around a lot of rich people. Yeah, but then again too, let's break it down to really break it down to where like we really look at it from a practical perspective. You know what I mean? My man in the chat box says people are more worried to compete than support each other. Not all people, but some people. People are very competitive. And that's one obstacle you're going to face when you are in circles that you're trying to build with, right? But even when you're building with people who are like-minded like yourself, you can never let your guard completely down. You always got to do your due diligence to make sure you're letting the right people into areas where you're trying to build. There's always going to be competition. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Everybody's trying to build. Everybody's trying to grow. But you can't always let certain people within your circle who may end up bringing you down. And you would notice this in the early stages of trying to build a strong power circle. You would know people who are only out for self, who are only out for their better interest, even though the goals are aligned. Even though we're all entrepreneurs, we're all trying to make it, we're all trying to build, we're all content creators, we're all trying to get to a point where we can monetize our character, our personality independently and grow. But you're gonna see the character traits of certain people who aren't necessarily out to build as a unit, and understand that building as a unit in turn would always benefit the individual. But you will be able to see that, listen, certain people are just really out for themselves because they're just pushing an agenda based on them, and it'll be obvious. You know what I'm saying? Real recognize real, and the fake will always expose themselves at some point or another, and as you continue to be attentive at how you build your circle, you would realize the real people will always stick around. Like with me and you, my man Mr. EU in the chat box, we've built from since the Periscope era in my car. You know what I'm saying? That's why I could be able to build with you and give you my honest opinion on the matter, because I know that it's an honest exchange back and forth. It's very hard to really find people who could have an honest exchange, and when you can find that and find people who could really build with you, it's always good to cherish those people. And there are other people as well too that I've connected with and that I've built with and that I've grown with, and I've always been appreciative of those people and whatnot. And those people really teach me a lot about what it takes to build a good power circle, a good power structure of people who believe in what you believe in, and in turn the value is reciprocated to them, because there's nothing that I wouldn't do for people like yourself and others who support me. You know what I mean? And yeah, man. And that's what I believe, it takes to really build a good power circle, man. To really understand the values, to weed out the real from the fake, to understand only certain people are allowed in your in your circumference when it comes down to how you build up a good a good team. And these people don't necessarily have to be doing anything for you. These are just people who you could bounce honest ideas from, build ideas with, and in turn, be able to help you grow and achieve to the next level, man. Mr. EU said, definitely a real virtual friendship and support, and I like to learn from you. My man, yo, I appreciate you, bruh. I appreciate you kicking around, and I appreciate you seeing the value that I could bring to you, man, and vice versa, you know what I'm saying? Believe it or not, you're teaching me a thing or two about what it takes to really be honest with myself, in turn to be honest with others, and it could help build a relationship. So I appreciate you, my man. I definitely do. Now, man, I need to take a break. I'll watch the full episode later on. Well, yo, I appreciate you stopping through. I'm about to get into some of these topics and talk a little bit about what's been going on, man, in the news. So for those of you who's been kicking it up to this point, definitely check out the website trappolitics.com, where some of the latest and greatest be happening at. This is the news before it becomes trending culture. This is where I'm able to reach one, maybe teach one through Traps and Street Politics. I got a little bit of everything up on here from my feature on TMZ, because your boys out here doing big and better things. You know what I mean? I'm out here on TMZ. I got my own YouTube stream out here jumping off every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. For those of you who are interested in stopping through and making sure y'all kick it with the OG. Tuesdays and Thursdays, man, but I might end up doing it, I might end up switching up a little bit and probably do might add another day in there, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, who knows, man. I do enjoy, what I'm saying, hopping up on here and kicking it with y'all a little bit, a little something low key. Don't forget the Cash App down low, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the people who do be dropping a little dime or two up in the Cash App and what have you. Now, let's see what we got in the news today. Kevin Samuels is a frustrated idiot. I definitely recommend you guys go and check out the video. The video is fucking hilarious. The guy, I don't know if you guys know about this guy named Gerald. He normally runs up on people talking about, oh, yo, you look like, yo, you Kevin Samuels, man, yo. It's like the wrong people every time. He ran down on this guy that looked like Kevin Samuels or whatever, but the guy looked like he's probably about some action, probably about some business. Not like he looked like an older dude in his 50s, very well dressed, well groomed. You would assume that he looked like Kevin Samuels. Actually, I would go into it, but I recommend you guys going through and stopping by and taking a look at this. Taking a look at this post. It's hilarious, but it's interesting as well too. The man says he's been in the fashion business for over 40 years, and he says Kevin Samuels is a fucking idiot. He's a frustrated idiot. And he kind of like sparked a nerve in my brain, because in the back of my mind, I think the same thing as well too. There's never an episode where Kevin Samuels is on his stream ever being agreed. He never agrees with anybody who comes on his platform. I get it. It's your platform. And everybody that comes on there, you could be, disgruntled and defensive as much as you can be. But he never agrees with anything anybody says on his platform. So it always blows my mind when people hop on this platform and try to like talk to him like rationalize. Like, even if a person has like an obvious point, he would do his best to like combat it. Very combative personality, very ego driven. Right? And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure I can't hop on this platform and say anything, without him being combative about it. I used to work with a person with a Kevin Samuels type of mentality where everything you says is wrong because I'm older than you, so I should always know more than you because I have more knowledge, more experience, and more understanding than you. But what all that buckles to is the fact that I'm more innovative than you. So if I have an innovative mindset and I come to you with a point of view in an aspect that you should be open to, and you're just gonna keep being negative and combative about, it proves to me that you're not open to understanding, you're not open to growth unless it's on your terms. And that's cool. You're good to live your life however it is you want to live your life, and XYZ. I just won't fuck with anybody like you around you. I wouldn't even show up at your funeral if you were a person that was teaching me as a mentor. You know what I'm saying? I just have no respect or no grounds to respect anybody like you. Next topic. Feds probe entrepreneur couple who cashed in over $100 million on a COVID testing boom. Now, how many people thought that how many people knew that there were money being made on a COVID testing boom? I've only heard about this intricately on the back end, right? Dana with the data, shout out to her on YouTube. She talked about how she would be the one doing a lot of testing and whatnot. And she used to get paid to do testings for people and yada yada yada, due to some programs and whatnot. But like, according to the article, these people have over 300 locations all across the United States. So these people were just racking in, cashing in, and as they continue to cash in, their social media began to show a lot more of their lavish lifestyle, which led the feds to believe, wait. See, and that's the thing. That's the thing when it comes down to boasting and bragging. You bring a lot of unwanted attention to yourself, and now the feds are on your ass, and now they're gonna fucking run you through a fine-tooth comb. Any small level of non-compliance they're gonna bring up and want to call you out on. Your shit better be by the book if you out here flaunting millions of dollars with your GT Ford and your fucking F-150, your million-dollar mansion. You guys are out here opening up businesses on top of businesses. You out here hitting the gym, all chest, no legs, ass looking motherfucker. Like, you know, if you're going to be that type of person that's going to be on these social media platforms and doing all this other crazy shit, you better make sure your shit is legit. And unfortunately, these coons had over 400,000 COVID non-compliant regulation violations. They out here violating the procedures all up and down the board. According to the Better Business Bureau, they got a lot of complaints. They're out here sending negative COVID results to people. They're out here cross-contaminating people's COVID tests and all sorts of crazy wild shit, which led the feds and the BBB to probe their whole scheme. And then in the back of my mind, it makes you wonder, how the fuck did they know about this shit to begin with? You know what I'm saying? How is it that they're able to go to these extremes, that you're able to get over $100 million out the U.S. government, doing tons of false claims, sending this back to the Department of Health and racking up bread? It just blows my fucking mind sometimes. How do they know these things? Why are some of the most lucrative business options given to these type of people, but it's not given to black people? Black people need to be out here striving and surviving too. What the fuck? Anyways, I hope they get locked up for at least 15 years. Moving on though. All right, we got this soggy sponge over here. A Rochester pharmacist who's out here doing the most, who knew he was out here, well, according to the charges and allegations that was brought upon him by the state attorney, knew that he was out here selling opioids to drug dealers, peddling it to drug dealers who are going to be out here peddling it to the streets, and was not compliant in stopping it. Again, opportunities awarded to these type of people who just abuse the system. Luckily, he's not getting away with it, but the amount of people that have gotten away with it throughout the years is unparalleled, because according to the reports, this is the first person to actually be called out on the bullshit that he's fucking doing. Him and his company is the first people to ever be called out by the U.S. state attorney for their negligence in pumping opioids into the country. So the state is trying to run, a case where they're trying to lock his ass up, fine the company hundreds of millions of dollars, and I hope they win, because apparently at this point I think it's an example needs to be set. And why not start with these pale face, crusty, sponge looking motherfuckers? You know what I'm saying? If you zoom up into the picture, sir, what is that on your lip? What is that on your motherfucking lip? That shit look musty and dusty, and it's a result. It's a side effect of the type of negligence that you not only have with the business that you ran, that pump opioids, that probably overdosed God knows how many people because of the negligence that happened with your company. But listen, man, it's due justice. And one thing too, right? People be like, yo, your blog is only like exposing a whole bunch of white people, man. How come you don't got no black people on your page? How come you never expose black people? Fuck all that. The mainstream media will always be out here exposing black people. It's about time that somebody starts exposing a lot of these white people for some of the bullshit that they doing. Especially this guy right here, King Kelly, right? King Perry, who stole 177 million from a bunch of old folks. Especially the fact that he stole 250 million from a man with dementia. So he used to go into a bunch of old folks' homes, convince these old folks that, yeah, if you milk your whole pension, you probably be able to, like, you could probably come up on this new real estate investment deal. We're about to invest, your money into a 600 apartment unit. So now that your kids could be able to have, money to afford college. Like, he would go in there and just be lying his ass off, according to the reports. Maybe this is what the reports are insinuating. I don't know for a fact. But you guys could go ahead and read the reports and understand where it's all coming from. All on trappolitics.com. Check out the website, trappolitics.com. Go hit the sources and you guys can read it all for yourself. But a Ponzi schemer, and it's always those white collar criminals. All the white people be doing a whole bunch of white collar crimes and be getting like the minimal to like basic type of fucking penalties and shit, and it be blowing my mind. They be walking away with like a slap on the wrist. This guy though might be doing like 17 years. Thank God, because he should be doing at least 1,700 years for taking advantage of the disabled, the recently deceased. I'm talking about these old people, who will give this guy all their fucking money in turn to invest it into something that they could probably pass on to their children or their grandchildren, and he's out here squandering their money away on lavish lifestyles in Vegas, paying for hookers, alcohol, songs being made about him so he could be out here parading around. Like, these are the whimsical, coonery, buffoonery bullshit that a lot of these fucking goofies be doing. Like, they have no honest interest in the people who they actually do business with. And it's like colonial era all over again, but in a technical phase. You know what I'm saying? Like when Columbus came over here and just took advantage of the Indians. You know what I'm saying? That type of white imperialist type of agenda where it's like, it's all about me and not about anybody else. Like, it's all about what I could do and how I could benefit. And it's so fucking gross that I just can't even... It erodes my trust in a lot of these so-called businessmen these days. That's why I have like such severe trust issues. You know what I'm saying? I can't even look. I live amongst these type of people, so I can't even look at them with like the notion that there's any type of honesty that will ever come out of these type of people's mouths. And I said it with the utmost disrespect. You know what I'm saying? I'm not out here spewing hate. I'm just talking about these type of Ponzi scammers and white collar criminals. These are the type of people I'm talking about. I'm not generalizing. But I don't know, maybe I am. You know what I'm saying? Don't shoot the messenger, y'all. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just the Messiah. Now, shout out to the Pennsylvania DA, man. Round of applause for that guy. He finally brought charges on these three criminals right here. A black dude who was getting cut off by the screen, but you go to trappolitics.com and you'll be able to read the article. You'll be able to see their full pictures. You know, some white, some goofy looking, high school jock and his uncle right next to him. They let off a melee of shots that end up taking the life of a precious, beautiful, young, little black girl. And if it was up to me, all three of them will get at least 80 years with no parole. If it was up to me, 80 years. Now, how the article breaks it down is that two guys got into an altercation, some shots rang off, and apparently shots flew into their direction, but it's between two assailants. So two assailants had an argument. One person whipped out a gun and was like, nigga, I don't give a fuck about you. Bang, bang, bang. Started shooting at this guy right here. But behind this guy was a bunch of officers in the far west, or in the far distance, or whatever the case may be. And the officers thought that they were, being shot at. So they took out their guns and just started, unloading. But in turn, they not only killed a young, beautiful black girl, a beautiful sweetheart, nice little, beautiful life force. They killed a young girl as well as injured many others that was at the place. So these reckless officers just took out their guns and just started unloading, clips like they're shooting at Amadou, like they didn't even know who or what they were shooting at. They just decided to whip out their guns and started unloading. This is the type of power that are given to these type of drug addicts. Shout out to my man Star. Star used to say this one thing back then. These type of officers are junkies, drunk off power. Drunk off power. He used to say that back in the day, that these are drug addicts that are drunk off power, drunk off authority. Junkies off authority, where they think that they're just people who could just do whatever, however, whenever, and just think that it's okay and get away with it. Thank God, though, that the DA is bringing down manslaughter charges, reckless endangerment, with a mandatory sentence and charge that they should at least do life in prison if it was for me. But I don't think that's what the article is saying. The article is saying that they're probably going to do, I don't know. The sentencing has to begin. But in my opinion, I think they should all do life, or at least 80 years in the prison cell, because it's deserving. They took a young child. They didn't even identify who the suspects were before they decided to charge. All they thought was pull trigger first, ask questions later. Who made them judge, jury, and executioner? You know what I'm saying? Who decided that they were that? The people? I doubt that, because there've been a lot of protests out there in Pennsylvania, and I'm glad that there's finally some justice being served, because I heard about this a long time ago, and I thought it was unfair that charges weren't brought to these cops. They try to charge the two men for everything that has happened, but when the right people in power, the right white people do what's right in power, justice gets served. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful that justice is finally being served. Last but not least, and I know this is what everybody's been waiting for, right? How is Pablo Escobar a rat? Pablo Escobar was a rat. Rat ass rat. That nigga was a rat. He was a rat. That nigga was a rat for the DEA for years. According to George Valdez, who was one of the key founders within the Medellin infrastructure. Now, he explained that the Medellin cartel was not ran by Pablo Escobar. The Medellin cartel was a group of families within Medellin that ran cocaine, but they were not all a collective underneath Pablo. Pablo was just the most ruthless. Now, the numbers of how Pablo was a billionaire, the numbers, according to him, was fabricated. Maybe the collective of the Medellin cartel equal up to the $1 billion status, and because he was like so ruthless and so popular that they just said he's the head, and the collective of the Medellin cartel equal up to the billion, so they just pinned it on him. But the way that he broke it down, and he is a valid source, and I believe exactly what he said. That's why when I was in Colombia, and people was like, "Yo, you should go visit Pablo Escobar's grave." I'm like, the fuck am I don't give a I never gave a I'm here for the women, man. I ain't here to see no nigga grave. I ain't here to see no man. The fuck. And plus, I read some of the reviews of his gravesite, and people is like, yo, man, I literally walked into a bathroom stall, and this is what they call, an honorary Pablo Escobar ceremony. Like, nobody give a fuck about him like that over there in Medellin, to be honest with you. The man was a fucking criminal, a terrorist. The man killed a bunch of people's family members, and, nobody really give a fuck about him like that, to be honest with you. When you really go over there and you talk to the people about it, nobody gives a fuck about this nigga. It's only America that actually put him on a pedestal, so that now when you go to Medellin, they'll try to like get some money out of you and some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? To be like, oh, well, if you're here, I'm pretty sure you heard the story, and that's where he's at over there, which is probably like false. That's probably not even where he was really buried at. Moving forward, though, Pablo was a rat, according to George. He said that how he used to rat to the DEA for years. He used to tell the DEA about certain people who were moving more weight than him, so the DEA would run down on them and not run down on him. But unfortunately, the DEA said, well, hey, listen, man, you're the last remaining rat. Even though you're ratted on like your other 10 compadres, you are the last rat that's remaining. So our boss says we need to get rid of you, and it's either you turn yourself in or we just eradicate you like the rat you are. And he said, you know what, man? I'm not gonna give myself up. You gotta fucking find me. And eventually, bullets found his ass, and it was over for him. So there you have it. But I would definitely recommend you go to trappolitics.com, check the video out yourself, hear it from the man's mouth himself, one of the founding fathers of the Medellin distribution. How would you say it? The Medellin distribution network that was later dubbed the Medellin cartel. A man who was connected way deeper than Pablo Escobar is. Pablo Escobar was just a pack boy, according to what George Valdez says, because George Valdez was the man really connected with the people who pulled the triggers and it really made things happen. He controlled the paperwork that these pack boys like Pablo was running for them. But don't listen to me. Check out the website. See for yourself. And make your own judgment and decision, man. With that being said, this has been real. Appreciate y'all coming through, kicking it with me as I vent a little bit. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. Hopefully you guys understand what it takes to really build a good power circle of people who can help build you in your most sensitive times, most precious moments. And I hope this message really hit home to y'all. You know what I'm saying? I do be putting my heart on the line. I wear my heart on the sleeve. You know what I'm saying? When I'm out here on this microphone, grinding it out. My goal is to be able to do this, every Tuesday and Thursday, and maybe an extra day in between to the end of the year, so I could really build up a dope following with all y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm a real one, you know what I mean? And I appreciate the people who recognize the real. I appreciate people who stop through and kick with me and just hear me out. Because at the end of the day, I'll smack this shit out of all y'all. You know what I'm saying? If it's warranted. But I'm not a violent dude. I'm a man that's striving, surviving. That's out here making sure that he's out here getting it. Not forgetting it. If you made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know your opinions on some of the topics. The main topic on top. Let me know how'd you guys find the channel, you know what I mean? YouTube ain't gonna promote me because they promote only white people. But let me know how'd you guys find me, you know what I'm saying? How did you guys find Neo in the Matrix? Because it's all about confusion, mass disinformation, you know? It's all about not allowing you to know exactly where to find the truth. And when you do find the truth, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully you guys connect with it and you guys build with it, you know what I mean? Because I am the truth. My true name in its essence is literally means the Messiah. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here to deliver some truth to y'all. And hopefully you guys appreciate it. Until next time. Peace, love, and prosperity. And I'm out, man. I'm out this bitch. One, son. We out. Yeah, I'm out here wigging out, man. I got people out here, you know what I'm saying, tweaking and weaking. You know what I'm saying? Out here thinking that shit is sweet, you know what I'm saying? Sugar ain't sweet. Shit ain't sweet out here, you know what I'm saying? You can't polish a piece of shit. The fuck? Fuck with a real nigga, you know what I mean? Out here watching all these bozos and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? You gotta fuck with a real nigga, baby. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? What you consuming? You like junk food? Fuck out of here with all that bullshit. Nobody out here want no junk food. Junk food is bad for you, baby.